Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Open Your Mind. Today, we're going to be talking about a big news topic, which is in progress right now across Europe. One of the biggest heat waves we've seen in multiple decades. And this is only, so we have to remind ourselves, this is only spring. This is only spring. The intensity, the length, the intensity and the length of the heat wave, it's almost like a heat dome over Europe. The intensity and just how long it lasts is dramatically rare and can potentially be extremely dangerous for the population of Europe and the drying out of vegetation, which could lead to wildfire risks later on in the season since it's not even summer yet. Right, so yeah, we're going to be talking about many different aspects of this, but I think we'll start in the UK. There's three main, we'll start at where this has all started, actually. We'll start here in South Spain, Seville. Seville, like most of Europe, has had a very, very cold start to the season. If we go back a couple of days, that's when it started getting a bit warm, but it's had a very cold start to the season, below average for much of May. But we have suddenly had a shift, which could dramatically and dangerously bring May for Spain, France, and Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the UK, and France, obviously. It could bring those temperatures from below average at the start of the season to about average at the middle to extremely above average. It might bring May's actually make this temperatures are so high at they're 4 or 5 degrees in Spain above average. They're 3 to 4 in France above average, and they're 5 above average in the UK. So this could easily bring these May temperatures and May mean temperatures way above average. You can see here we're starting, if we go back to the start of the day, this is the first real day of the heat wave. Yesterday was pretty bad for Spain, but it doesn't reach the extreme temperatures. It has obviously influx of heat from Morocco, since it's a very small Strait of Gibraltar and it's very close. It makes it very vulnerable to this extreme heat coming from North Africa. As we can see, it starts to get really hot, so 36 degrees in Seville, which is extremely hot. 31 in Madrid, 32 in Bilbao, Lisbon's 30. Lisbon, yeah, Spain is going to be hitting, it could, meteorologists, sorry, I can't do it. Meteorologists predict that maximum temperatures for May, that this is their overall record for May, it could exceed, and they could beat absolutely smash the record of 40. Could get up to 40.3 or 41, they're predicting. Even if it gets to 40, is ridiculously hot. It won't be the record, but it will be extremely. So they are in danger of breaking their all-time record for May. And as we can see here, it just only gets hotter. Sorry, probably should. You can see the highs today are 37, close to 37, again 36, but it just gets hotter over the see, this is last day, 33. It's not that hot. It's kind of, it's more the intensity. It's more the longitude. It's more how long this lasting will have. The health. If we're talking about health impacts, it's more how long this is lasting. Just the longitude and time is extremely dangerous, and this is not the peak. We're sitting here on Monday, and we still haven't got the forecast for Monday, but we're going to be looking at that later. But Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Spain, France, and the UK are going to be the hottest. 40, potentially 41 in Spain, high 30s in France, high 30s in France, which is extremely rare. High 30s in France, maybe even potentially 40s in Bordeaux, which can, or very high 30s, which can be very vulnerable to that. And it is highly predicted that the all-time record in we'll get to that later. Sorry, I've kind of skipped. I've just realised. So yeah, we're going to move to France now. So it's kind of just the same story. It's extremely hot, and it's if we just go back a couple of days here. Sorry, that's a bit too far. We'll just go through like so. We'll just go to midday. We'll go to 3 o'clock, which is of course the pinnacle of the heat. Um, the Thursday is not too bad. The north is not getting as much, and but Bordeaux and Toulouse and Lyon and Montpellier and Marseille, especially the south, and it can also creep up to Lyon, are extremely vulnerable. And also then this it also spreads, so you can spread to Orleans, Paris, Le Havre, Brest, in Brittany, spreads everywhere. Um, Especially Dijon too can also become very hot. As we can see, Dijon gets to 29, Lyon gets to 30 as it goes up in this valley here. I don't know what it's called, but these are going to be getting extremely hot because of the barrier. It's more like a heat pocket here. Um, Quest. I'm not going to try and pronounce these. Sorry, but all these cities are going to be very hot. You can see they're 35 degrees, which is mid 30s, which is extremely hot. Bordeaux, 36. It's extremely hot. It's very dangerous actually. 30 degrees in Paris at this time of year is actually can be pretty can have a bit of a shock on people. Um, sorry, it's a bit. Uh, we have 30, and we'll see the temperature readings 32. Not as hot, but the areas which are most likely I predict to get the extreme heat is Rennes, Nantes. Rennes, Nantes are very sort of because the winds blowing basically to the west, and when it blows to the west, all the hot air which accumulates over here accumulates right by the west coast of Bay of Biscay. Sort of this west coast Bay of Biscay can get very hot. Quimper, Vannes, all these yeah, all these areas can get extremely hot. Um, and yes, so France could easily beat its all-time current record is 36.2. So as you can see here, we got 34. I mean, 34 is 36.2. This is amazing. This could easily break the record. The current record in France is 36.2, and you can see here it's 36, but it doesn't have the points, so it could easily climb further than 36.2. It only needs to climb 0.1 to get to 36.3. So that's another massive danger, but also a massive danger is the UK. The UK has had a pretty unsettled and a dark picture to the start of the month, especially mid-month, where we're sort of around the 10th, 9th of May, where we obviously whole of Europe and especially Northern Europe was under the influence of an north air, so air coming down from the Arctic, plunging colder, way above below average air into the Europe, plunging way below average air into Europe, way below. And obviously at the beginning of the month it was average, and at the start we had a very warm April, late April and early May with 21s, 23s. Very nice April. It was the seventh warmest April on record. But April is, a fun fact, April is actually the fastest warming month, or fastest warming period in the UK's weather right now. It's warming at a rapid rate, something crazy number. But you can see here, we'll just start back at the UK has a very maritime climate, so I mean, we won't be expecting it to get to the same levels because it's not um, um, connected, but it kind of also does rely on the temperature or also how well heat can transfer from the central continent to the island. Obviously, if winds can change direction, it can be very changeable heat waves in the UK. But right now, it's looking forecast is looking the sort of the same sort of picture. We're getting that same heat dome over central and northern Europe, over the UK too, and it also depends. The first couple of days are We don't get the same heat also because we're not connected. If we were connected, we would. And also because sea temperatures around the UK are still extremely cold. Up here, they're still 11, 10 degrees. Down here, they're a bit more warm, 13, 12, 14, and then get to sort of 15 in the English Channel by Portsmouth, Weymouth, and then into, it is extremely cold. Still, and it's just usually when heat waves are, they're usually in June, July, and August. The sea is much warmer and it's warmed up, but in a late May it's still very cold, and it's quite amazing to see heat go through that, because sometimes that can stop massive heat waves, and that's why it's so hard to break the 32.8-degree records. I mean, Ireland is not getting the same sort of heat. Sorry, everybody in Ireland, Dublin, Belfast, Northern Ireland. Yeah, it's not getting that same sort of punch. Cork, especially. It is because it's still in the jet stream. The jet stream has moved further north. I mean, you can see it clearly if we go 2 more days. That's clear. The jet stream has moved north. It's moved and it's giving precipitation to Norway, giving precipitation to Reykjavik, and Iceland, a bit of snow up in the mountains, and also it's going to be taking it further north to Bode and Tromsø and Trondheim maybe, but that might be a bit too far south. And maybe even to Lerwick, which is part of the UK, the Shetland Islands. We won't expect this area to gain the same heat, which is kind of obvious. It's an island and completely 100% of its weather is guaranteed. It's 100% of its weather is the sea around it is only 1-2 degrees warmer. It's a complete maritime climate, like complete. Yeah, it's not going to be changing. Heat. It's just it is the sea. Basically, the sea temperature determines the climate and the weather on the Shetland Islands. Right, but we turn back to the mainland. Obviously, the southeast Brains has the main brunt of heat. Uh, so the southeast has the main brunt of heat. East Anglia, Kings Lynn, Norwich, Thetford, Ipswich, Cambridgeshire, Norwich, sorry, just had something in my mouth. So it's starting. So keep hydrated. Two just to get a tip. So we have Kings Lynn, we have Norwich, Cambridge. So we have Cambridge, Cambridgeshire. So the counties which are in like the main danger, I'd say, is Cambridgeshire, Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, Greater London, Kent, Surrey, and even towards Oxfordshire and up here too. And it can actually increase to sort of this area, so East Yorkshire, Yorkshire. Last year or 2 years ago, it had quite bad droughts. Heat can travel quite far up. Durham is one of the coldest. It has the most snow in the Durham County has the most snow in all of England, but heat can quite easily creep up here and give them 22, 23-degree days. As it depends obviously on that day it's 27 because the heat creeps up, and it's but it also does depend on the wind here. You have the Irish Sea, you have wind coming across the UK, and that can just push off any heat attempts to get out. And obviously, the further up you go north, the more the sea and the maritime climate is more dominant over the sort of land mass climate. But the UK is still 90% dominated by the maritime climate. That's why we have a maritime climate here. But on to the thing, we are very, very likely to break our official record from the Met Office of 32.8 degrees. 32.8 degrees. And you can even see here in London, 33 predicted. 33. If we go to Hounslow, where's Hounslow? There we go. And Heathrow here, 34 degrees. That's really, if it gets 34.8, that's 2 degrees on our initial record. That's a massive jump. It's ridiculous. It is a absolute massive heat wave, and you can see sometimes it is a very hyper discussion, obviously, because the UK is a very variable between Icon and GFS. We'll discuss this later, where they believe the heat is going to be. You can see it's very different in different. GFS believes it's going to be a bit colder. Icon believes it's going to be a lot warmer. I think Icon's the one I would probably go with on this day. Um, uh, Icon again for the 21st, the 22nd, which is today. Um, I would definitely go for Icon's prediction. 23rd, yes, I would go for the Icons. That's also ECWF, the the European Centre of Mid-Range Weather's also forecast this sort of heat dome over this southeastern south part of the south is very probable. I would not. I think GFS's one is a very much more unlikely. And as we tick over to the start of tomorrow, this would be Monday, we can see it's actually shifting to more of a westerly flow, not as powerful as we have over here in France, but we can see we have, I would put in, we are going to have some much warmer temperatures in Cornwall today, Okehampton, Devon and Dorset, Gillingham, Plymouth is hitting the 23, and the sea is just obviously here you can see the sea. If you're in the right angle here with the weight, and you don't have the sea breeze, but here you don't. Here it's hitting. You see, you can have 18, but the further you get inland, Penzance will probably get to 21, 22. Yeah, 23, 23. You can see over the next couple of days it's a sort of westerly flow, southwesterly wind flow, and you can see it just and obviously it slightly changes up here in Norwich. We have more of a northerly flow, but that's kind of there's a kind of loop going around here, I believe, or especially yesterday. But especially around the south, it's more of a westerly flow, so that's going to bring hot air from the southeast to the west, which is also going to spread it up, and that will also help Wales, northern Wales. It's not going to be as hot, sadly. Um, um, not going to be as hot, but up in the northeast can get the have the heat, especially Newcastle, Durham, but it never usually comes up to Scotland, sadly. 22 sometimes, 22 in Edinburgh and Glasgow is possible. Some sort of low to mid 20s. Oh no, I would say low 20s. I would say sadly it would be more low 20s. But Inverness, there's some places. This sort of valley can get quite hot. You have places like this where the heat is sort of trapped. So we saw that quite a lot in sort of late April. There's places where if the wind's right, it can sort of trap heat in between the Scottish Highlands. Sort of like here, this area can get quite hot, but it doesn't. Sadly for North East Scotland, the heat doesn't seem to be playing the ball. But okay, we're going to move on now to sort of health warnings. And we're going to move on now to health warnings. And also, yeah, I think I'll catch you in 2 seconds. Hello, the second part of the video. I'm going to be just discussing health warnings for different areas. I'm also going to demonstrate the different areas of what country we're just looking over doing prediction. I just thought I'd mix it up. So what you're just looking at now is different weather forecast predictions for the next couple of days. And then whilst I'm talking about, whilst you can see this, I'm going to be talking about the health in the UK. Okay, so I mean the health risk is very high. There's been recently at the start of the day, there's been a health alert is going to be released around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock for I would say it's all of the south and some of the northeast. It depends on what day. So they kind of just released it for a sort of a large area where they know they're going to get that sort of heat, but not every day, but they will get it some days. What we seem to have in the UK is we are very sensitive to heat and cold. Since we have a maritime temperature, I tend to say we're quite we have a low temperature threshold. We seem to think -5's cold, and then we seem to think 30 degrees or 35 is cold. It depends, warm, sorry. We seem to think -5's cold, but 30 to 35 is extremely hot. And it depends where you live, but in many other areas, especially America and Central Europe, they get and just big continents, they get obviously they get a much heavier difference in temperature. But that's one thing we can fall ill to. You can see actually today that's just a very hot day. So I would, oh geez, that's the peak, 33, 32 in London. One thing I would 100% say is stay hydrated. Stay cool. If you're elderly, please stay cool in the middle of the day. Don't go out in between. I'd say, especially on the hotter days, don't go out between 11 and 5. After that, it starts to cool down. You can go out. You can do what you need to do, but you need to stay hydrated, stay hydrated, stay cool. Like try and regulate your body temperature. Take You have to keep in mind, keep on drinking water because then you can sweat. Just relegate your body temperature. Um, don't try not to do any sort of yeah, and uh, hydration, like if you're going outside, sun cream is very important. Even though it's spring, there is still high UV light, so you can easily get sunburnt very easily. And so I would especially say, um, please put on sun cream because you don't want to be burnt before the summer starts. Heavy burning can be extremely painful, and it can start to bring on skin cancer, and it's just extremely painful to, like, if you're at school or other sorts of aspects, it can be extremely painful to deal with, and even sleeping. That's another important thing we need to get onto, sleeping. In the UK, we do seem to have a problem with heat due to climate change and obviously aspects of us heating up and having hotter summers and drier summers. We are there's a key problem we seem to have, which is you can actually see it's cooling down by the 27th of May, but the BBC doesn't seem to think so. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is quite far off now, but it's see how long the heat dome does last, which will be interesting. But on topic, it's we have houses which are developed for the maritime climate, developed for cold winters. So that means they try and retain heat, and they're not built to try and keep people cool in the summer. So that prevents very hard sleeping conditions. It's extremely hot when try one major tip I would give is try and sleep in not very heavy clothes, or just try and sleep in light pajamas. Um, and also try in the day when it's at the peak temperature, try and keep all your curtains shut when you're not in there, and keep your door so that less light comes in, so your room still remains relatively cool. And when you're sleeping, it's very hard. I would say either try and sleep without a blanket on, or a very light blanket. I know me personally, I can't really sleep without a blanket on. It's just personal, so it's just um, but if you can do that, just try and stick with as less possible on it, and do whatever you possible. And obviously, another key factor: stay hydrated. It's very much one of those recurring factors. You have to stay hydrated. Um, yeah, at night everywhere, because dehydration is the start of heat stroke. I had heat stroke once, and dehydration. I was sweating too much, um, and I had to drink, because once you stop sweating, that is when it can start to get dangerous. And well, yeah, and also humidity. Um, there's not going to be that much bad humidity in this one. It's going to be quite a dry hot spell. But in the UK, maritime temperatures can definitely bring up maritime sort of humidity around the sea, because we're surrounded by ocean. That can kind of bring up not temperatures, but how it feels. It feels more muggy. It feels more harder to stay cool because the humidity is up. Therefore, it is 31, but it feels like 33, 34. So I would severely watch out for that. I mean, actually, this kind of just applies to Spain and France too, and just the whole Central Europe, Belgium, Luxembourg, um, Switzerland, and just and also parts of Portugal, where they all are definitely on track to break um, um, severe regional records, not national records, but regional records. So one thing I would indeed say is this would just if this would kind of fall under the whole dome. Yes, so that's what it is, and that's the sort of my health advice. Okay, goodbye. Quick summary for health in the heat. Keep hydrated. If you're a vulnerable person, please do stay inside between 11 and 3 p.m. because it will help you. Please. There is a danger. I do want to exacerbate this. There is a danger, even though it's May, it's still hot enough that there is a danger to heat stroke and especially to elderly people for being ill and maybe even more extreme effects. Um, Make sure you do put sun cream on when you go outside. You don't want to ruin your next couple of days with extreme sunburn. There is very high UV light. Keep your bedroom cool in the day because sleep with minimum insulation sheets, so like pajamas. Don't try not to sleep with very much. Remember, like the main way of staying healthy in these situations is remember staying cool at night is the main way to stay healthy in these situations is you have to cool down. You have to cool your body down at night. That is why UK has such a bad infrastructure problem because so many people are not cooling down at night. Therefore, that increases the danger by 10 times. So please try your utmost best to keep your body temperature down at night, and so then you can be replenished for the next day. Thank you so much for watching my video, everybody. It's greatly appreciated by me. Open your mind. If you please subscribe and like, and we're a YouTube channel which values free speech. So please do put your opinions down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching the video. And if you do want to watch some more interesting videos, we do have some great, very interesting videos on Imperial Overstretch. And I'm excited to create a collab in between weather and Imperial Overstretch. And my next video will be on El Nino. And then we will also maybe create a video where it collides with them, how El Nino and in just climate change can impact imperial overstretch and just in general the natural shift of power in the world.